Due to multiple appalling high-profile instances of sexual violence this year, the topic of how to teach or socialize men not to be abusive has rightly got a fair deal of attention. On the topic of sexual harassment, the Office of the Mayor of Greater Manchester released a video on this. It's gone down pretty well on social media. It's gone really viral, 1 million views. Let's take a look.
Oi, look at her. Very nice! Yeah, she's alright.
Yeah, no worries. See you soon. Bye.
Watch it.
Hey, beautiful. Give us a smile. Bet you look much prettier when you smile. Hey, don't ignore me. Come on, love. Think you're better than me, yeah? You're not even that fit. What, you're not going to invite me now?
Yeah, you're asking for it dressed like that.
Are you off tonight? She definitely wants it.
Oh, he's sexy.
Do you think this is okay?
So that video was put out by the Office of the Mayor of Greater Manchester. So Andy Burnham tweeted it out, but presumably it was made by people in his team. Ash, that video's got lots of praise.
I thought this was a really good video because the emotions of it rang very, very true. From the things which seem quite micro. So when you're a woman and you're out and about and you see a glance, and it can be just something as small as a glance, which makes you reassess, should I keep walking the way I'm walking? Should I change my route? If I do continue the way I'm walking, is that man going to take it as a sign of like sexual interest on my part? And then how do I diffuse that situation? And the cumulative impact of having to navigate those kinds of interactions on a day-to-day basis, it is utterly exhausting. And so I think the way in which this piece of video really locates the emotion in the female experience of those things, I thought was really powerful. And I think that lots of women were saying, yeah, that is how it is. There's a challenge to men who are watching the video. You're asking them, is this okay? And this is where maybe I think we've gotten to something of like an impasse or like, a blocked off road, because I think that most men watching that would go, of course, no, that's not okay. If not, basically all men would say, of course, that's not okay. But that doesn't necessarily change how they themselves behave when they're out there in the world or interacting with women. And I think that we're still struggling to navigate that chasm between the public disavowal of sexual harassment and sexual violence, and that in private or in public spaces where men feel a lack of accountability, that their behavior is very, very different and not in line with the kind of morality that they like to project, out there to other people, or indeed the kinds of things they might say to, their moms, their sisters, their girlfriends, their friends. Bell Hooks died yesterday, and it made me think, watching this video, of one of her books, which is called The Will to Change, which is really about how men are socialized into their masculinity. And the two things that happen to men growing up, which is one, they're hurt, and then two, they're taught to deny their feelings, and then three, there is the sort of, that comes out in this really weird way of like misogynistic violence, harassment, belittlement, all of these kinds of things. And one of the challenging things that Bell Hooks says is that women are a part of that socialization of men too. We also help uphold some of these patriarchal expectations of men, which then produce misogynistic behavior. And so I think that this is a great video. I'm really all for it. But what I also want is for us to go beyond thinking of sexual violence, sexual harassment, or misogyny as something which we solve by sharing content that emotionally resonates with us, and we can sort of say something about ourselves by sharing it. And maybe we get into, I think, that really deep down, nitty gritty stuff that Bell Hooks is talking about in terms of, well, what emotional need is being served by the expressions of misogyny or sexual harassment, and how is that related to the way in which men are socialized into their masculinity?